Yes.
What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Today, did I say that wrong?
You said status quo.
This is not your status quo, not your status
It's
quo.
not your status quo.
They used to tremble at the thought of not your status quo and Irde Gagarin. Now they will tremble at our rockets. But we are here. We're talking X-Men 97, Life Death Part 2. We're talking The Bad Batch, Into the Breach, and really anything else that you guys want to talk about. We're just totally chill, man. But before we get into all that, Dave, Doug. I'm sorry, Dave, Doug. How's it going, gentlemen?
I am fan-freaking-tastic. Thank you for asking. And man, I tell you, I've had a hard time getting motivated this week. I did watch the shows yesterday, and I hope I can remember them because my brain is just like sometimes if I watch it too soon, I won't remember it in time for the show. And I didn't get a chance to rewatch, so you guys might need to start the conversation, and it'll just slowly filter back into my head. Other than that, pretty boring stuff going on around here, your daily stuff. So without further ado, Doug, how are you doing?
Well, Dave, let me tell you, I am outstanding. And it was funny that Keith forgot to put the comment at first because I was going to use that opportunity. I was going to be sneaky, but he got me. It's going to be sneaky. I rewatched the episode of Rick and Morty yesterday where it was Jaricki.
I didn't. That's the only one. Well, not the only one, but I really didn't like that episode. It creeped me out.
It was dumb, but I had it on in the background while I was doing something else. And I happened to glance up after they had fused themselves together, and I'm like, "Oh, Dave and I should do that just to screw with Keith, like speak in unison." We are Devug.
Devug.
Just want to give a
We
shout
are
out.
one now.
Just want to give a shout out to Alex out in the YouTube chat. Welcome to our stream, young man.
Welcome, welcome. Good to have you.
Well, all right. That's cool.
So, you know what? We should probably make a real quick announcement before we dive into anything. And before I ask you, Sir Keith, how you're doing, just want to let everybody know, for those of you that are used to seeing us stream twice a week, we are making a slight, just minor schedule change. We're going to be streaming mostly on Wednesdays or Thursdays. It may fluctuate depending on what's airing. We did that once before with The Last of Us. We altered our streaming days. But yeah, look for it. It'll usually be Thursdays. Possibly it might move, but usually it's going to be on Thursdays. And yeah, look for a bunch of brand new videos. We've got a lot of ideas coming up. If you are fans of our In Focus videos, or if you've never seen them, check them out. If you like our Theory Palooza videos and you like our What's Next videos, we're going to have a bunch of that stuff coming out soon. So definitely stay tuned. We got some cool stuff cooking.
So what you're saying is there's some changes coming to the channel.
There are some changes. I know change is tough. I don't like them either, but sometimes we got to bear through the changes.
Changes.
Is this a deep cut by Not Your Status Quo?
It is.
That is David Bowie, 1975.
Oh.
I didn't remember the year, Dr. Strange, so thank you.
But, Keith, sir, how are you doing?
I am tremendous. Another, wonderful couple shows. I really, the funny thing is, too, I mean, X-Men 97 seems to be getting all of the online chatter. But the Bad Batch has been so good. I mean, I do think X-Men 97 has been better, but I feel bad for the Bad Batch because it's been tremendous, and it's like, you look online and no one's talking about it except for the hardcore Star Wars channels. Everyone else is talking X-Men 97 nonstop. So, I feel bad for the Bad Batch. I think we're coming up to a pretty fantastic ending here. At least it appears to be. And I'm excited.
Well, I wonder if Disney is using this like a bit of an experiment to find out, okay, what can we pair against X-Men 97 for when we end up releasing the second season? Obviously, this is a Bad Batch's last season, so this is kind of like a good testing ground for them. Okay, can we pair it against, a Star Wars, animated show. Maybe not. It seems like X-Men is trouncing it. All right, well, maybe the next time we release season 2, we'll release it against maybe a live action Star Wars show. Let's see which one conquers the other one.
What they should really do,
Hmm.
and Disney Plus, I'm looking at you, release it on Saturday morning.
That'd be great. I think that'd be an outstanding idea.
We would all enjoy it immensely.
Absolutely.
Fan freaking tastic. Absolutely. Thanks, Doug.
I live to serve. You know what? I have a question actually for Dave before we dive into our shows for tonight.
Okay.
So, Dave, you got a chance to finally finish watching Fallout,
I did.
and has your rating changed in any way, or do you have any new thoughts?
Well, here, let me turn up my speaker so I can hear what you're saying.
All right.
I can hear you.
Good.
I liked the ending. I was just the way you said. See, I don't want to ruin it for Keith, but the way that because he's only
He took his pods
got-
out.
yeah, he's got an episode and a half. Wait, is it 10 episodes or is it 8?
It's 8.
Okay, so he's got an episode and a half left. That's what Keith got left. So I don't want to ruin it for him. He's close.
All right.
But I feel like God, if I say it, it's gonna ruin it for Keith. So I didn't get the ending that I expected from
Okay.
the way you said it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So we'll get to that when Keith gets to it. I mean, it's Fallout's the #1 show on Amazon, so I don't think it's going to be bad for us to continue talking about it.
Speaking of, shows getting a lot of talk, a lot of praise, I am surprised at how much I'm seeing. Like, it was a really good show, and I did enjoy it, but I did not expect it to blow up this much. I mean, I'm seeing it
Oh, me
all
either.
over social media. People cannot stop talking about it. And then I
I-
chuckled because this one Ghostbusters group that I'm a member of, they tried to sneak in, well, Ghostbusters Afterlife 2, or what was it? Frozen Empire. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire got 160 million at the box office. Good for you,
That's
buddy.
good.
You keep
Yeah.
trucking along.
This is not that conversation. Although I did like that movie. We're not talking about that right now.
Right. It's like Fallout. Ghostbusters is still here. Fallout.
Yeah.
It's like that meme where
But
the lady's saving the baby and it's Fallout, and then the kid drowning in the bottom of the pool is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
When I was done watching the show, though, I did feel like a void, like I wanted to see more. I wanted to keep
Yeah.
watching. So, it's a sign of a good show. So my overall rating for the whole season, I give it an 8.5, and that's really good for me.
Wow. I don't think
it is.
I don't think I almost ever hear you rate something that high. That's wow. Damn.
Right, it's just about Andor and that, and
Yeah.
maybe a season of The Mandalorian.
I feel like we need to make like a Dave Hall of Fame, and if it reaches like, an 8 or above with Dave, like it gets to go on the board, and it's like you definitely have to watch it now.
I'll get a refrigerator and I'll put it behind me. We'll just write down the
Like
ones I feel
it's a special unit on the Doug scale, the Dave challenge. If you're able to to meet the Dave challenge.
No, I do. I can't wait for season 2. I'm really happy they're doing season 2. It was very well done.
Yeah, I'm 6.5 episodes in. I was trying to
Nice.
watch. I watched wanted to watch the whole episode today, but I only got through half at lunch, and then people kept bothering me at work.
I did not get to watch any TV today. I am glad that I watched the episodes that we're going to talk about today. I'm glad I caught them yesterday. I had no time today. It was crazy.
You gonna take some loo time tomorrow?
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I mean, you had to work until 7. I
Yeah.
mean, geez, that's rough.
Well, gentlemen, what should we talk first tonight? Should we talk The Bad Batch, or should we talk X-Men'97?
I
Well, we
think we
always
should
do
start with the
Bad
Bad Batch.
Yeah,
What do you think, Dave?
that's good for me. That's what we always start with. That's the one I always watch first.
All right.
Me too. I don't know why I do it, but I do always watch The Bad Batch first. Maybe because it started first. But we got a wonderful little episode, and there was one part in particular. Episode 13 of a 15 episode season. We got 2 episodes left. Into the Breach. I loved how much character development we have got with Omega these 3 seasons.
Yes.
Seeing her sitting there plotting her escape just made me so happy. I was like, that's how you create a character. That's how you build up a character through 3 seasons. When we first saw her, she was just this annoying little kid. And now she's like making little maps. She's like, that's the best out of all of the Bad Batch. She's got a little hunter, a little tech, probably a little Rekka. And it was just so great to see, her, like, the kid, the one kid who tried to escape, I forget his name, was like, there's no escape. She's like, this is what we have.
SR-52, I think, was his name.
Or was it Jax? His real name.
Jax.
Don't be in such an Imperial Dave.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody.
Was it just me, or did you two love the fact that the one girl there announced, introduced her as Omega?
Oh, yeah.
That was great. I love it. It's like, it's so good because it's like, oh, good. It's not just us that hear her say it that way. So these kids are like, oh, well, I mean, she called herself Omega, so that must be how you say her name.
She's Omega, and there's some guy on their crew named Reeker.
He must reek.
He must be Reeker. Why, what?
I don't know where he's been hanging out. Probably in the cargo
What are you
hold.
been saying about me, kid?
Hey!
I like, too, when she's like, I've escaped before, and I'm going to do it again.
Slow your roll there,
She's
kid.
that facility before.
She's like Rocket.
So she knows what to do.
I mean, she was smart. She figured out all the people, where they're at, knew all the guards, knew the rotations. I mean, she has been trained. She's a soldier now. She has probably gotten the best, like, training
Arc.
you could have hoped for.
That is actually a good way to put it, because she did, because they are the Bad Batch. They're not just, your average clone soldiers. They are specialists in specific fields. So yeah, for her to get training by a leadership expert, a munitions expert, a tech expert,
a sniper.
I think she's
A tracker expert.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah, and
yes.
and it wasn't just me, or the Crosshair seemed like he was really more part of the team this week.
I noticed the same thing. He was just like old times. They were all doing their things, and it seems no
Working
animosity.
together.
Well, Omega has been captured, so they're all, one track mind. We got a free, and you kind of saw, to do what we always do and jump to the end of the episode. I don't think Hunter would have ever taken that chance when they're like, we shouldn't do it, and he's like, negative, and just does it, because he knew the stakes. He's like, it's okay if we get caught. We this is the only chance we're going to get probably, and we're going to take it because, we have to get to Mount Tantus and save her. And I was like, you can see how much they all care for her, and just, it's been built up. They didn't rush it. This isn't the second episode where all of a sudden they're all best buddies. They've done everything together, have all these missions, and become, that tight-knit group that would do that for each other. And it's a great way to make a show.
Do that in a 2-hour movie, All the development they've done over these last, how many episodes is it now? It'll be like 47 episodes now. That, you couldn't squeeze that into a movie. That's why those moments mean more. When he's willing to risk it all. Like, if he hadn't attached right before, they'd have been blown into bits. Willing to risk it all.
Yep.
And since we jumped to the end, as we do best,
when don't we?
Were either of you, for me, like, I was on the edge of my seat at the end there. I was literally like holding my breath, like, oh my God, are they going to make it? Are they going to make it? Because I remember from a couple of episodes prior when Crosshair attempted to shoot that tracker onto the ship and didn't make it. So they've now already established they can lose. Like, it's possible. And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, are they going to make it? Are they actually going to, oh my gosh, are they going to
Yes.
screw this up? And I
I
was like,
was thinking that. And Rampart, that guy's just a comic relief now, I think.
Me? Don't worry about me. You guys are standing out like an overheating Gamorrean.
now I need to
Like,
know what an overheating Gamorrean looks like.
I,
wait, you
I,
guys changed the deal again. That's not the deal I signed up for.
be,
One of them should have said, "Pray I don't alter it
Right, I
further."
was
That
waiting
yes,
for one of you to
hilarious.
make the Vader statement. Pray I don't alter it further. This deal's getting worse every day.
Like if Wrecker had said it, "Pray I don't alter it any further." Okay, get on the ship. I don't do a very good Wrecker. Sorry.
yeah, Doug does a better Wrecker. But I loved too Wrecker just sitting there when they all went out to, and he's just kicking back, watching his phone or whatever.
Yeah.
You all better
He's
come
playing a
back.
game
I
or
want to
whatever.
take someone out. It's like, oh god damn it, Wrecker, really? You couldn't just stand there? Oh, it's getting in the way of my game.
Can't save
Right
it.
before they take off, he just throws them on the boxes. There you go. You're fine, pal.
He was asking me a really difficult question, like, what's your name?
But I did notice that they were using stun again on
Yeah,
everybody.
I did notice that too, even for regular troopers. I thought that was odd.
Mhm.
Like
Well,
regular Imperials. I wonder if that's because, like, seeing a dead body laying around might have alerted somebody more than just somebody knocked out.
That's the way I took it. They're
Get more
stunned.
heat on them.
But you were right,
But-
Doug. I was really worried that they were not going to connect to that ship at the end of it because they had set up precedents that their missions don't always pass. I mean, it's nice. Their plans change as they go through. At first, it was just, oh, we'll connect and we'll steal the things. Oh, they don't get the coordinates until they're beamed off. And so, okay, we got to change
Yeah.
our plan. And I was thinking, okay, maybe they're not going to connect to the ship and they're going to hang around that station for a little while more and either hijack a ship.
Get the
that
code
isn't-
somehow, or
Yeah.
honestly, I thought they were going to like steal or jump aboard that ship and like pirate it or whatever.
I thought too they might go the other plan. How when Cad Bane, delivered that little bird dude,
Oh,
and maybe they would be like, okay, we need to get a bounty hunter now, and at least, have him meet up with us and maybe put a tracker on the ship. Because I didn't know when they were talking about proximity, they had to turn off the proximity field. If they threw a tracker on the outside, would that have alerted via the proximity thing?
I don't know because that's the first time I've ever heard of a proximity field. I'm wondering if it was a special security thing added to this ship specifically because it was going to Mount Tantus. Because Han didn't have that issue or didn't seem concerned by that issue when he attached the Millennium Falcon to that Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
That was because he detached. Oh, I don't know. He did that before he detached. Never mind. I was gonna say he detached with all the garbage, and then why would they expect anything but garbage?
Right.
But I think Doug's
But
right.
you're
I
right.
think it's Hemlock and high security. He doesn't want anyone finding Tantus. And so anything going there has an extra level of security, attached to it. But I even thought too,
They
like,
said a science ship, so science ships, I guess, have more.
Possibly, yeah.
and I
You know
even
what-
thought
what
he
else
might
is-
throw a tracker on one of the robots, like one of the R2 units that were
would have
going
been
up.
smart.
I was like,
Oh yeah, that was.
he's not going to make it in, but he's going to be smart enough to attach it, or the little, little, I don't know what they're called, the little bot that got sucked up at the end
Little
too.
box droid.
Yeah, the little box
Yeah.
droid. Because that was hilarious. It's
Yeah.
sucking up all the R2s, and that one's underneath it. It just comes down a little further, sucks them up. I'm like, was he supposed to go?
Oh man. Another thing that I was kind of happy about that they did in this episode, that they're actually doing in quite a few of these episodes, and I wish it would have carried over or it would have been a major part of Rebels. It's the fact that, as you said, Keith, a lot of times they have to change their plans because they run into trouble or their initial plan doesn't always work out. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the Empire actually seems competent in this show. Like, I mean, you do have your smattering of, egotistic, rebel generals and moffs and governors and everything that only got their position because they were ass kissers of the emperor. But there's enough people like Hemlock that are actually thinking things through. That's potentially putting a wrench in the gears of the Bad Batch's plans. And I'm glad for that. I am glad to see that. Like, I mean, obviously, we're not pro Empire here. I'm not trying to join the Stormtrooper Corps or anything like that. But I do like the fact that but I do like the fact that, making the Empire come off as a little bit better organized, as smart, as more competent. I think that's important.
The universe without being competent.
It adds to the challenge for starters, and it makes like the Rebel Alliance more necessary. The fact that they had to effectively become a military unit when what's his name in Andor? Oh my gosh, what was the older guy's name?
In Andor.
No, when the older guy who was like setting everything up.
Shop.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what was his name?
Why can't I think of his name?
Character?
What's that?
Andy Serkis's character?
No. Skellyan Skarsgård or whatever his name is.
But
we'll find out momentarily when Keith finds it.
He made a comment to Saw Gerrera. He goes, what do we call it? Call it war. Well, yeah, at that point it had to become war. And I am glad that they're showing the Empire in such a threatening manner that it kind of warrants a war.
Luthen.
That's it. Thank you.
Oh my God, he was such a good character too.
One of my favorite shows, and I can't even remember the dude's name.
Well, yeah, it happens. None of us could. It's so long ago. But I will never forget that speech he gave. It was at the end of episode like 10 or 9 when I was like, wow.
It will be a sunset that I will never get to see. It's like, oh shit, dude.
It was like, what are you risking? And then boom, that was Oscar worthy, that speech.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely was.
Did Andor end up picking up any awards?
I don't know.
Sorry for I'm tangent timing here.
No, we tangent time all the time. Not that I saw, but I don't really pay too much attention to, the
Neither
awards.
do I. That's why I'm asking in case one of you guys do. I don't know. I don't really watch a whole lot of the awards shows. The only time I'm ever like somewhat aware of them is when some sort of drama is happening around them.
Like a slap? Like somebody
Yeah,
gets
like
punched?
a slap. The slap heard around the room.
Well, I stopped caring for the Grammys when Jethro Tull won Best Metal Album over Metallica. I was like, "What? These are a joke."
Well,
wow.
Personal opinion, I think Hanson could have beat Metallica for Best Heavy Metal Band. But hey, that's just me.
Damn.
Wow. Keith doesn't like Metallica. Noted.
Bob Seger, Metallica.
Wait, you don't like Bob Seger? What's wrong with you? What?
Load? There's got to be a guilty pleasure in there because everyone you hate has at least one song that you like.
I can't think of it.
Old time rock and roll.
No, because
Think is off the show.
You don't like Blame It on Midnight?
no, I just
What?
don't like any of his music, and I fear the day he dies because I'm not gonna be able to listen to the radio.
Damn, dude. Okay, all right. Well, that's
So,
does
were
not
you a
like
Kurt
Bob
Cobain
Seger.
fan too?
The what?
Were you a Kurt Cobain fan too?
I love Nirvana. I thought they were great.
Oh, yeah. I like them.
You also dislike Princess Bride?
No, I love Princess
Oh,
Bride.
thank good. Okay, good. All right. Well, that's 1 point in the Keith bucket. Okay, I was worried.
All right, you still know him. You still know this guy.
Well, no. Okay. All right. Good. You're not a scroll yet.
Why'd you invite me over for lunch tomorrow?
You wanted to see his basement. He put something new down there.
I can't wait to
It's
see it.
you. It's you.
All right, now stand right there on the floor. No, move to your left and damn, the button's stuck. Okay, have we tangented enough?
Yes, we have. Because now that it's ended, we know two things. At least we think we know two things for the next episode. Omega is going to try to break out via the panel behind, those little things she broke through, and the Bad Batch are going to arrive at Tantus.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, is she going to escape? And when they arrive, they're going to try to break in when Omega's already out, and it's going to be like a Scooby-Doo show where they open the door and she's gone, and then and they go in another door and she comes back. And
No, it'll be more like the Suicide Squad when they're climbing up the side of the building and Harley Quinn comes walking out and saying, "What are you guys doing?
What are you guys doing?"
You. Oh, I'll go back up if you want me to.
They'll be doing a bunch of plans.
That.
We're going to blow this wall up. Rekka, get all the explosives out of there. We're going to create a diversion. And she goes, "That's not going to work."
I love that. That is a fun theory. Now, let me make a really depressing theory.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I think I know what you're going to say.
Bob Seger's going to show up, play a rock show.
To open for Metallica.
Oh, Lord. No. Okay.
Nickelback?
I just came up with a depressing theory that I think we don't think this is going to be a very happy ending.
Correct.
We've discussed this in previous episodes. What if they're being a little more unclear on the timeline, on the amount of time that passed from Omega getting recaptured? And what if we're seeing, when they what if the Bad Batch finding their way to Mount Tantus is actually happening like a year or two later, but they're showing events out of order? So Omega is attempting to escape. Either she'll be caught, or something will happen. I have this like sneaking feeling that something horrific is going to happen to her or has already happened to her before the Bad Batch can get to her in time.
Oh, man, that is dark, dude.
Oh, I think that's not where I thought you were going with that. Nice.
What did you think?
I thought you were going to say, and this is what I was going to think, that since she's working on her escape, she escapes, the Bad Batch comes in, and they don't make it.
Oh, I like that too.
Do you think when
dang,
you say
she
they
gets
don't
out.
make it out, like they're trapped at Mount Tantus, or they're dead?
Or they're killed.
Well, they're either all dead or maybe one of them survives and is stuck there.
I could see that too, and then maybe she has to reach out to whatever clone contacts, and maybe she can get a hold of, and I don't know, hang out with Wolf or Rex or something.
I think that's how this show's going to end. Now, whether they start another series called Omega or something like that,
They should. If they don't, they're doing her dirty.
Well, and think about
That's
it.
a great story.
She made a point of telling all those other Force-sensitive kids, "I'm going to get you out." And what if we see, God, what is the name of that? It makes me so mad. It was like the Unknown Path, or...
Oh, the one that Obi-Wan discovered?
Yeah, where the Jedi were kind of like...
I didn't even consider that, yeah.
Because there could be four or five Force-sensitive kids that all escape out of there. And so maybe... Hold on, Hidden Path. What if we see... By the way, that could also be, just a tangent for a brief moment, that could also be another Tales of the Hidden Path.
Ooh, oh, I like it. Oh my gosh. Yes, Disney, please make that. We get to see all these different like Jedi escape stories as they make their way through danger and trying to escape the eyes of the Empire. That would be amazing. I would watch the shit out of that.
That's how my brain works. But think about it.
So you couldn't, because there would be no shit in that show.
But think about it. I mean, where else would 4 or 5 Force-sensitive kids be the safest? And it could be with, oh my God, I can't think of her name now. Who showed up in a few episodes ago?
Asajj Ventress.
Yeah, Asajj and her buddy. Maybe they're leading them, because we know that her buddy's name was on the path when Obi-Wan saw it. So maybe he leads those 5 kids out of there, and they're trying to, train some Jedi kids. So it's not just an Omega show, but it's this, Jedi kid, Force-sensitive kids on the run, either trying to be trained or trying to build for, to take back over part of the rebellion.
Ooh. I know what they'll call it. High M count. I think that's a great name for that show.
There was a I'm gonna tangent real briefly. There was a parody video on YouTube. They were kind of poking fun at that one scene in Phantom Menace where Qui-Gon is testing Anakin's blood, and so it's the whole scene that plays out, and they I don't know if they used AI or if they just had a really good voice actor that sounded just like Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, but Qui-Gon goes, Obi-Wan, I need you to test this blood for midi-chlorians. And Obi-Wan goes, wait, what? For midi-chlorians? What is that? Did I not tell you about midi-chlorians? No, Master, I don't believe you did. Oh, well, it's what makes the Force work. It's not magic? No, it's science. It's all biological science. Oh, that's really depressing, Master. and then he's like, "What? This kid's got a really high midichlorian count." I see. Interesting. I think you're just about done with training, Obi-Wan. Are you trading me in for someone with a higher count?
Do we need to get him an antibiotic? He's got a lot of midichlorians in his blood. Does he need help?
Oh, God.
You get too many of those, you might go to the dark side. Eh?
Right. This does not look healthy.
They start eating your brain, and you'll probably hurt some younglings at a later date. You'll be easily tricked into...
Oh, no.
You never know what's going to happen.
You'll believe stories about Darth Plagueis the Wise.
And how wise was he, really? He's dead.
Wasn't wise enough to avoid Sidious.
Master, I'd really like to go teach the younglings some tricks I learned with my lightsaber. I don't think that's a good idea, Anakin. You have way too many midichlorians.
You never know. People with them high midichlorians, you're always on the edge.
But I do kind of think that she's going to escape with the other kids somehow, and maybe one Bad Batcher helps them and escapes. But I feel like most of them are going to die on Tantus or be recaptured. Maybe a few die. No, you know what? You know why I don't think any will be recaptured? Because Omega would never let it go. She would go back to rescue them because that's the kind of person she is.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't just escaping for herself. She's taking all them kids with her.
They have to either be with her or they have to die, in all honesty.
Yeah, and I think they'll die.
I do too.
There's no way out of it, really.
And if I'm wrong, then I'm betting we're going to get, that really teary type of scene where, Omega, you have to run. Go. I'll hold them off. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, that would be Wrecker, yeah.
Yeah. And Omega is having to run with tears streaming down her face. No, God.
Either that, or Hunter's leaning off the end of the ship, grabs Omega's hand so she can get on the ship.
Throws her in and falls off.
Yeah. She gets in, and he turns around, and he slips, and he's gone. But they get one last goodbye moment,
as long as they do it as well or better they did Kanan sacrificing himself for the rest of the rebels, I will be down with it.
That was a heartbreaking ending with Kanan.
That man deserved better.
He did what he needed to do, and look what he did. Got it so Ezra could be blasted off world with thing and then come back sometime later dressed as a stormtrooper and see. But that's a tale for another
and
time.
We get Sabine Wren. Where's Sierra's favorite Sabine Wren?
She does love Sabine more than anyone I've ever seen. It's president of
I
the
heard that
Keep
Sabine.
the
she's going to
rhyme all
start.
the time.
I heard that she's starting the number one Sabine fan club.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We were getting that off the ground. Yeah, taking
She's named
donations.
herself the president and vice president of the club.
Treasurer and
Really?
CEO.
I don't know who else does stuff like that.
But it will
You
be
don't get
interesting to
political.
see because next week's episode is called Flash
Just go
Strike.
through the tours. Oh yeah, flashbangs.
Flash Strike, not Flash Bang.
Now, are we getting any more double episodes or
We are not. There's only 2 episodes left. One next week, and then the finale on May 1st.
Does it have lengths on them? How long they are?
Doesn't.
That last
Not
one's
yet.
got to be an hour.
At
At
I'm
least
hoping
an hour, I would think.
at least longer than 22, 25
they
minutes we've
need
been
to?
getting.
It really needs. Like, you cannot tell me this is the series finale and then only make it like 20 minutes. That would be wrong and a war crime, I think.
Yeah, I think we could march at dawn at Lucasfilm.
Oh,
We would
yeah,
be
yeah.
picketing up a storm.
So how long was the how long was the premiere? Wasn't it like almost a movie length, like 2 hours or hour and a half or
I
something?
think it was an hour. Yeah, it was longer than a standard episode. So yeah, the book ended. Nice long episode to start. Nice long episode to end. But it's funny
really
because I think about this. Flash Strike is them probably going, we got a small group. We've got to hit them hard, hit them quick, and try to get it. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to do it and find out that maybe Omega has already escaped. And maybe the last episode is called The Cavalry Has Arrived. And maybe she is the one who comes, she's the cavalry, and tries to help them until they shoo her away. We're not all going to make it. You run with your kids.
They
We'll guard the
they
ship.
do like every pet in every old movie. Go get out of here now, boy.
We never liked the way you talked anyway, Omega. Oh, what?
Like that Rick and Morty where they got the
Yeah.
the Sasquatch into human form and they're still sending him out into the woods.
Go get
Why are you throwing things at me?
get out of here.
Excuse me, sorry.
I haven't played that theme song in a while.
Could you play it on YouTube? They let it go?
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
I guess we will find out. Oh, we're not on YouTube anymore.
Yeah, we are.
What?
I was like,
Oh, Dave.
That scare you?
Yeah.
because it plays through OBS, so I guess it'll be nice to find out. I may have to make some more modifications to OBS to maybe play the sounds through. But we'll see. Because, the chat only comes... I'm only getting the Twitch chat in OBS.
Yeah, you have to actually switch over to the YouTube one to get that.
Oh, so it doesn't combine the chat like StreamYard does?
It doesn't... Not with my current configuration.
Ah, I see.
So I may have to make some changes.
Okay.
But hey, any more thoughts, theories, the Bad Batch before we hop over to little X-Men'97?
Well, I think we should rate it.
Oh, yeah. Good call. Totally forgot about that.
Okay.
Dave, you want to go
well,
first?
The only thing I have a problem with the show on is, again, we've already talked about it several times, the length of the show. But that kind of goes against what we've always said, being like, tell a story as long as you can make, as long as it needs to be, and then move on. So I just want more, I guess. I want more quality, and it's a top quality show. So I just want more of it, So I'm this episode I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I'm not gonna go too crazy on it. I love nothing in this series, which when the series started you wouldn't have caught me saying it, but nothing in this series would ever go lower than a 5 for me. It's definitely way above average, and so excuse me, 7.5 is what I'm gonna give this week's episode.
Okay. I believe last time when you and I did our review, I gave last week's episode a 7.5 because I don't know, it wasn't for me, it wasn't as top tier quality is what I'm used to. I think the best parts of that episode were Omega and Emery. I think those were the only parts that I really liked. The whole thing where they were trying to, sneak Rampart out, and they were breaking it, going to the truck and all that stuff. It was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It was, but to me, it felt like what you were saying, it was a shorter episode. And for me, last week's episode felt like it was missing something, like it was incomplete. Whereas this week's episode, I had the opposite feeling. Um, it did seem I don't know. I didn't get the feeling like it didn't feel short. It felt more complete. It felt like I got a full story regardless of the time frame that they put it in. And I wasn't sitting there thinking this would have been better served if it had been, one part of a double part episode, premiere. Would I have liked to see more? Yes, but I only want to see more because it just, it grabbed me so fully. That end, like I said, I held my breath. I was on the edge of my seat because it was like, I don't know if they're gonna make it. And then once the credits ran, I'm like, that was an amazing episode. I can't wait until next week. Last week, I was sitting there thinking like, okay, I guess it was fine. I could have used just a little bit more though, because it felt so, I don't want to say fillery, but it felt, dull compared to the rest. Like it needed something more. Not this week. This week was phenomenal. And so I'm willing to bump this one up several more points. So last week I gave it a 7.5. This week is easily an 8.5 for me.
Now, I definitely enjoyed this episode a lot. When they attached to the ship and it went to the credits, I was like, "Wait, already?" I was like, and I paused it. I'm like, "Oh, that was a normal length episode." It really flew by. They did a really good job interweaving. And the best part about it, we get that cliffhanger. We almost get two cliffhangers in a sense. They're attached to the bottom of the ship heading to Tantus, and Omega is getting ready to break out with all of her buddies. So we got a week to think about that, and I thought that was a great way to end that episode.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I feel like we got such an amazing payoff with all of the training and character development that Omega has went through all these seasons, and how she just took a leadership role with those kids and was like, "We're escaping, and I'm taking all of you with me. I've done it before, and I'm going to do it again." Just confidence, knows she can do it. It was just really cool to see. Totally felt like we are getting, a complete series out of what we got. But hopefully, we get a little announcement at the end of this series on something new. But I'm with Doug. I think I'm going to give it an 8.7. I really, not to outdo Doug in any sense. I mean, I really thought it was just an incredibly well-crafted episode that had an excellent cliffhanger leading into next week. We only have 2 episodes left. And it ended, and I was just like, God, I want it to be next week all of a sudden already. And, that's what a good episode does. It builds that anticipation for next week's episode. Now they just have to, cash in on that and give us another great episode before the finale.
They're going to really have a void in their animated series if they don't throw another one out there. I mean, besides the Tales of the Empire. Because these series, the Clone Wars, Rebels, and this, have all been so good, so well written, that there'll be a big void there if they don't come out with another one.
And I think they know that, and I think they're going to. We know that Bob Iger has kind of said, let's slow the roll on too many things coming out at once.
Right.
But honestly, Star Wars and Lucasfilm, some of the best stuff they do is the animated series to fill the, bridge the gap between movies. So, they could do a... Go ahead, Doug.
Have you noticed how much better the animated series have gotten too? If you go back and you watch like an older Clone Wars episode, it's like, I'm not trying to put them down because I can't, I'm not like an animator by profession or anything, but like it doesn't look great compared to what they've got now. It's improved time after time after time. And I think when we were watching Tales of the Jedi, I was like, oh my God, it's gotten so good. And then this season of Bad Batch, it's looked so good. It's looked amazing. They've really improved, and I can't wait to see more of this animation.
And I mean, they have a lot of places they could go. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
I was just gonna say that's what we said before the season. After we saw the preview for this season, we were talking about how good the animation looked, and they definitely have made. I mean, some of it looks like real. It looks live action. It's done so well.
And they've got a bunch of different eras they could do animated series for. We could get something with, if she lives and survives the finale, we could see something with Omega and the Hidden Path, or wherever she goes, or we could see a story about her later on during the original trilogy, or we could get an animated series leading up to the Mandalorian and Grogu and Dave Filoni's movie. I mean, they've got a lot of things they could do. We could even get an animated series bridging the gap between Episode 8, the last Star Wars movie we've gotten, and Episode 10, that's going to start filming the Rey New Jedi trilogy, New Jedi Empire, or whatever it's going to be called, New Jedi Order.
I don't know why. That's weird that they would skip 9 like that. It's insane,
It must be an unlucky number or something. I can't think of any reason else why. The funny thing is, it was on TV the other night.
Oh.
And I'm like going through the channels and I see, and I like pass it, and Sully looks at me like, "You always turn on a Star Wars movie when they're on." I'll explain later.
That's not a Star Wars movie. Sorry.
This one barely counts. It's they put the label Star Wars on it, but trust me, kid.
Okay, I gotta grab a drink really quick.
Okay, cool. Grab that drink when you get back.
Grab it. That's good. Yeah, I am really looking forward to next week's Bad Batch after this one. It was a cliffhanger, and there's been some debate going around online about what people prefer, whether they prefer a dump of all the episodes like Fallout, or if they prefer weekly episodes. I even think I saw a poll by Attack on Show. I think he was asking something similar.
You know what's funny? Tons of Twitter handles, and everyone was asking that. And I will say the same thing every time. I would rather be one episode a week. And my main reason is I liked the discussion after each episode, the thought process leading up to the next. Now, there are some times, and we've, like when the Bad Batch dumps 2 episodes because they go so perfectly together. That's cool. Yeah. But, I was so disappointed with Fallout because with my schedule, between work, my kids, I've only gotten through 6.5 episodes. I can't, take a Saturday and watch 8 hours of television and do nothing else. I wish I could sometimes. Don't get me wrong. But, I just can't do it.
No, Keith, what you do is you just don't sleep like me. It worked out great.
Trust me, the other night I watched 2 episodes. And I went to bed much later than I wanted to. So I was like, I can't do that again. I was so exhausted at work the next day. I'm like... But
you didn't hear this from me, but there's a few times where I think I went on autopilot while I was training, and I don't remember what I said.
Is that like driving? Like sometimes when you come up and it's like a construction zone, you're like, man, that's going to be tough to drive through. Then you're like, hey, I got through it. How did I do that? Yeah. It's like, I wish I could turn on autopilot instead of just doing it, not, accidentally.
I mean, I assume whatever I said was correct. I didn't get any questions, so,
I figure, did you get your drink?
I got my drink. Absolutely, I did.
All right.
I have a little phlegm sticking to the back of my throat, so I need the drink.
Too bad we can't incorporate like a channel point style thing on YouTube. That'd be nice.
Who now?
A hoot nanny.
Where people could spend channel points and make us say absolutely or whatever.
That'd be nice, but you just said it too.
You just said it again, you freak.
You darn tootin' I did. Okie dokie.
By the way, I'm drinking a
What'd you say?
Verner's tonight, and I wanted to ask you. My daughter, because I was in Orlando last week,
Mm-hmm.
I was flying home, and for some reason we talked about getting snacks on a plane.
Snacks, not snakes.
Not snakes, snacks. And I'm like, oh yeah, they
Okay.
usually come up, and I remember why I saw it. My whole family loves Sun Chips garden salsa. I don't know if you guys have ever tried them. They're awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling them because we were all eating some garden salsa chips the other night. They like, came by, and I'm like, they usually ask for a drink, and then they're like, oh, do you want a snack too? And I'm like, oh, do you got any pretzels? Because I thought they always had pretzels. They're like, no, we got chips, almonds, or cookies. And I'm like, I'll take the chips. I just thought I was going to get some standard yellow chips, but they gave Sun Chips garden salsa, a tiny little bag.
Really?
Yeah, I was so
Huh.
happy. But my daughter said, did you get ginger ale? And I said, no. And she said, she's heard, once again, it's through TikTok probably, somewhere around there, that
Mm-hmm.
the ginger ale on planes is the best, which I don't believe because I love Verner's, and Verner's is the best ginger ale. But now,
There you
next
go.
time I fly, I got to try it. So I don't know if you find
You'll
it.
have to let us
Canada
know.
Dry?
What, Dave?
What's wrong with Canada Dry?
It's not as good as
He
Verner's.
said, "What's wrong with Canada Dry?"
Yeah, well, Verner's is pretty damn good. I'll give you that.
It's a little
But
too
I
dry,
would.
too.
Ah,
Yeah, and you don't like Canadian.
aha!
And it's
Yeah, he doesn't like
Canadian.
We don't accept their free health care. We want our Verners.
Yeah. How dare they not have their people going to debt when they get sick? What is wrong with them?
Verner's is like Tussin. It fixes everything.
Fixes everything.
I'll still remember, Doug might not know this, but Dick Vitale, if you're familiar with him, I think Dave is. He used to coach.
I don't
The
know what that is.
basketball guy.
Yeah, he's a college basketball.
Oh,
And now he
that
does
would be why I
analysis
don't-
now, but he coached at U of D way back in the day. And when he was doing it, he did a Verner's commercial. And my brother was going to the University of Colorado, and he went to one of their basketball games, and Dickie V was there for ESPN. And my brother was like, "Hey, Dickie V, I loved your Verner's commercial." He's like, "Oh my God, you must be from Detroit, baby! I love Verner's."
That's the way. That's perfect. Nice imitation. That's perfect. And he really talked like that in real life, eh?
At least at the game. I hope he didn't at home. Kids, what do you know? It's dinner time. Let's get in here and have some dinner. Dad, can you please
How's
take
everybody feel
it?
about some spaghetti tonight?
Dickie V, I want a divorce.
Why, baby? This is the best marriage. We're all PT peers, primetime players in this house.
I'm gonna start coughing here. Hang on.
Well, I think we just found Keith's new voice.
Yeah.
Spent channel points on.
2,500 channel points. And you're no longer getting Gilbert Godfrey, baby. You're getting Dickie V.
That's the hype man on super hype.
That's like extreme levels. But are you fine gentlemen ready to talk about X-Men'97, Lifedeath Part
No.
2?
I don't know. I might need to call my therapist first. Oh, so much trauma. Hold on. Okay, I think I'm ready to talk about X-Men
Did you see some stuff and some things?
and some things.
Oh.
When
It's the
Magneto
worst
and
part.
Gambit were no longer in the beginning. I
Oh,
was like, wow,
God.
X-Men'97, why do you got to take that knife and just turn it ever so slightly?
do you want to know what really got to me?
Nope.
When I was getting ready to, because I watched the shows that we're reviewing, I watched them in the same order as you, Dave. So I went over to the Bad Batch, and then I saw the title of that episode, and I'm like, oh, too soon, Bad Batch. You shouldn't have done this to me. It's called a Gambit.
Wait, what was called the game?
Remember it.
No, the Bad Batch was called Into the Breach.
Wait, what was called something? There was something titled Gambit in it. As I saw it, and I was like, no, that's too soon.
The Queen's Gambit.
No. Did they change the title, or was I looking at something different? I must have been looking
You
at
must have
something
been looking at
different.
something
Whatever.
different. But still, I
Well,
get it,
we
man.
know where your thoughts were. I
And
mean,
we
It
all
was rough. It
we
was
all
rough.
know Gambit is a fictional character, but that still was
yeah.
like, damn.
Ugh.
Well, it makes me think. This is what makes me think. Everybody comes back. And if they bring him back, it'll cheapen his death.
Well, we
But
talked
there,
about that. Yeah,
in
and
this
I hope they
episode,
don't.
yeah, I hope they don't too. But it's,
Now,
it's comics. It's what they do.
Magneto is definitely coming back.
You think?
Well, and in this episode, we see Xavier came.
Oh,
About
that
to.
was so cool. So I ended up having to you guys know that I'm not as familiar with the comics as you guys are. So I ended up having to look up those characters. Hold on, I'm bringing up the thing right now because I was
The
like
Imperial
I
Guard.
didn't know. Huh?
The Imperial Guard.
No. The woman that he was with because I hadn't heard of her. Um
Oh,
And
really?
then, it was like going down this whole rabbit hole. And then I ended up, looking up Cassandra Nova, who I had never heard of before.
Oh yeah, she'll be
And
showing up in the Deadpool movie.
yes, she will be showing up in the Deadpool movie. But the idea is that I think if it's going along with the comics, I think she may have something to do with this storyline as well.
No, the showrunners came out because everyone was guessing that, because
Oh,
everyone was like, because in the comics the mutant massacre on Genosha was
hmm.
spearheaded by Cassandra Nova, who is a
Right, yeah.
twin of Charles Xavier. But the showrunner came out and said that's not who did it here. We know you guys are gonna have that guess. We have changed it up from the comics.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if maybe she was like the puppet master behind Mr. Sinister or something.
When it first happened,
Sorry for
that
No,
was
it's
jumping.
going to be Angstrom.
when it first happened. That was my first thought. I was like, are they bringing Cassandra Nova? It wasn't Angstrom either. I heard you, Dave. But that was my first guess. I'm like, holy cow, they're bringing Cassandra Nova into X-Men '97 before she shows up in Deadpool, because that was how the comic played out. She was the one behind it, and I was like, oh my god. Then when we found out Xavier was coming back this week, when we saw the clip with the Shi'ar, I was like, oh, it's all coming. Then a guy, I saw it on Twitter. It's not them, and it looks like Mr. Sinister is going to be behind it all, which is kind of funny because it leads into what happened in the comics recently with the fall of the mutants, or the fall
Hmm.
of Krakoa. Mr. Sinister had done a thing, his old self, like we've seen in the animated series. He was a guy back in like the 1800s, and he
Hmm.
basically was a DNA and just learned it so much. And we found out that Mr. Sinister is one of 4 clones. And one of his clones headed up Orchis, who helped destroy or tried to destroy all the mutants. So it looks like Mr. Sinister in the show at least, is not really doing the full, getting this whole, group behind it to try to take out the mutants, but at least he's the one trying to set up this mutant human war. Because
Yeah,
after
it's like,
Genosha happened, mutants are pissed. And
you
they
know
even
what?
Oh yeah.
It's like, I can't remember his name. In Captain America: Civil War, Daniel Bruhl's part.
oh yeah, Zemo.
Zemo, yeah, thank you. God dang. Uh, Trying to set the balls in action against each other where he doesn't even have to participate. He just watches it fall. That's what it's a setup.
Speaking of
You
Okay.
Captain America Civil
know,
War, I
it's
saw the remake last weekend of Civil War that they put out. Iron Man's not in it. Captain America's not in it. I mean, there's no talk of Bucky or anything. It makes no sense. It's the worst movie in the MCU. Did you guys not see that A20 called Civil War that came out?
no.
Oh
Uh-uh.
my god. That joke just dropped. There's a movie called Civil War with like Kristen Dunst and Jesse Plemons, and it's based on a civil war in the United States again.
Well,
Yeah,
if he
our stream is
oh, there he goes. Okay, he's back.
Yeah, you were frozen there for like 10 seconds.
Oh, but it's a
So I didn't hear.
nope, disconnected and is reconnecting.
Hmm.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yep, but our stream is also stopped.
Oh,
It,
yeah, it did. Huh.
it should come back on here. Yep.
Brief power outage.
No, it might have been because we're back up.
Well, I figured out what I was thinking of. So I must have been tired when I was looking at the episode for the Bad Batch. So yes, it is called Into the Breach, but then the description underneath says the batch prep for a gambit in enemy territory.
Ah.
That's what I saw. I was like, no, Bad Batch, too soon.
And just found out from Sierra that it is NYSQ's birthday. So happy birthday,
Oh, yeah,
NYSQ.
that's right.
Nice.
Happy birthday.
And we are
Happy
back
birthday.
up. We are back up on Twitch. I just had to close my old session out and restart it again, but we're back up.
Yeah, I just refreshed and I'm good. I can see us.
Yes, I am too.
Excellent.
Welcome, Sierra. Glad to have you here. Happy birthday to NYSQ.
It's
Talking
nice
X-
that you decided to spend the birthday with us.
yeah, we
Mhm.
appreciate that. Don't know if you've watched X-Men'97 yet. We are talking about that. And, one of the things, too, and, we're talking about the comics and how it goes. In the mutant massacre on Genosha, it looked like Magneto was killed also. But then he came back later as a villain again. So seeing how this kind of played out, we got kind of his death at the end of last week's episode. And then this episode, Charles, to jump to the end of the episode again, calls off his engagement, calls off his engagement after finding out that, Gambit had died and, what had happened on Genosha. He basically is like, I've got to head back to my X-Men. They need me more than I'm needed here, and headed off. And I thought that was a little too close to what the comics did to not see Magneto come back, because he's still a villain in the opening. So I think we have seen the Magneto as a good guy's time end on this animated series, and I think when we next see him, he's going to be back. I saw what you humans did to Genosha, and you will pay. I can no longer follow Xavier's dream. So all that buildup they did at the beginning of the season is going to get wiped out on one little massacre.
I almost wonder if it's going to be. So my theory was, and I think I know what you were talking about a little bit earlier, Keith, when you said, this guy on Twitter was saying, that all these people are dead. The former, I guess, creator, writer, director, whatever, writer, I think the main writer of X-Men'97 that pitched the series, he ended up, I don't know if he just parted ways or if he got fired, Bo DeMeo. He was the one who wrote all of these episodes for X-Men'97. He's the one that pitched them to Disney. And he did clarify in several tweets saying, no, these people are dead. They're dead. And he gave a list. No, this is what we pitched. This was the story. They're dead. So I don't know if that implies that, they're dead and they could be coming back, or if that's it. Like, we're killing them off because this needs to mean something. But if that's the case, I have a theory on what that'll actually mean for Charles. So we saw Magneto take up, and follow along with what Charles would have believed in. What if Charles comes back and now he decides, what, maybe Magneto was right. Maybe we do need to be a bit more forceful. Maybe we do need to bring war to the humans.
I can't see him doing that.
Yeah, that would be too much
See,
against his character.
Normally, I wouldn't either, but, maybe this will finally be the straw that breaks the camel's back. If you're going to compare, if you ever want to compare the mutant story to the civil rights movement, there was a couple of times where, like how a lot of times people will say, oh, well, if you're going to compare X-Men to the civil rights movement, Charles was sort of like Martin Luther King, and Magneto was sort of like Malcolm X. Every now and again, that while most people like to think that they remember Martin Luther King is always pushing for peace, always doing, the peaceful right. He did fight when it was necessary. And I'm almost wondering if Charles is going to be more forceful, like when he comes back, like realizing, you know what, clearly if we don't have somebody, you've killed Magneto. He was the one who we could always rely on to, really put his foot down. If we don't have that person here, he may not go full Magneto, but he may be a bit more forceful instead of, you know what, we don't want to just live in peace.
The only
We
reason I
want
don't
rights.
think he
You're gonna
will do
give them to
that,
us.
I mean, I like that theory, don't get me wrong, because there has been a lot of
Mhm.
parallels to the civil rights movement with how they've always sort of played the X-Men. I don't think they're going to go that route, only because they're going to find out that Mr. Sinister was the one who really forced that
Oh,
genocide on Genosha.
okay.
And he's going to be like, he's forcing us into a war. We have to rise above it. We have to do
I
what
see.
we've always done. That's how I think it's going to play out, because I don't think they're going to make Charles, go too far. I mean, he's always went too far at times. I mean, he's always done things that he's regretted later and, wiped out memories. Like even in Secret Wars, which, a little Secret Wars 1985 back issue breakdown's going to start coming next week, all 12 episodes. And in one of them,
Nice.
Spider-Man finds out that they're going to go join Magneto at his base and leave the heroes. And he takes off to tell everybody, and Charles makes him forget.
They did something very similar in the 90s Spider-Man version of Secret Wars. It was, I think, because of Spider-Man working with Captain America. I think it was Storm from the X-Men, and then there was like a couple of other, and then the Fantastic Four, and somebody ended up right after the Secret War erased Spider-Man's memories. And they're like, yeah, you know what? It's better that you don't know this stuff, because I think at one point they had to team up with Doctor Doom or something. And so he gets back to Earth and he's like, wow, what did I do this weekend again?
I'm awfully sore for just sitting on the couch all weekend. Yeah, Charles has definitely done some shady things in his lifetime. I mean, you find out reading the comics that he's not always, he's not Steve Rogers. He's not always doing what's right. He's not, Clark Kent. And it's funny because I bring up Clark Kent for a reason. I don't know if you saw this. Probably my favorite scene in this episode was Storm getting her powers back.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she went full goddess. I loved it.
And the showrunner at the time, who has since been let go, he said that was based off the Man of Steel when Superman first flies.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay. They did it much better on X-Men '97, obviously. But, just
Man of Steel was...
the way they handled it, I mean, I did not think they'd be able to really handle Lifedeath in this series this quickly as well as they did in the comics. And the comics was better. It was longer. There's a lot more that happened. Storm went back to Africa and, did some things. And there was a lot of, like, they were in another dimension that time was slower in. And it was a whole lot. It was really good. But the way they had it, his invention actually had worked and she had her powers back. And it was just fear that was holding it back. And then, dealing with that demon, the adversary, kind of bringing it all back. And man, when she just started, lightning crackling all around her and the wind's blowing and her getting that confidence back in her voice, which
seeing the storm from space, oh, that was so cool.
And then her coming back with the her older Storm outfit, the goddess. I was like so happy. That was so incredibly well done. And the voice acting, the lady who does the voice, like you could tell prior to her doing that, her voice was a little meeker. It wasn't full, and you just heard full confidence in the voice acting after she got her powers back. And I was like, man, thank you so much for that. I've probably watched that scene probably 3 or 4 times since the episode came out because I just thought it was so well done, and I just want to watch it over and over again. I can't say enough good things about X-Men '97. Thank God they brought it back. But still play it Saturday mornings for season 2, please.
I agree.
I want to eat Cinnamon Toast Crunch and watch X-Men '97 on Saturday mornings.
That's the only minor wrinkle we have for the show. But that would ruin our Thursday night broadcasts.
Oh, that's true. Well, then we stream on Sundays.
Or we're streaming on Saturday at noon.
Yes, in our pajamas.
Yes. Milk,
What's going on, guys?
dried milk on the side of our mouth.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, guys, I've watched the episode 5 times already. I'm ready to comment on it.
So what prize did you find in your cereal box?
Mine had a knife in it.
My chocolate frosted cereal bombs or chocolate frosted sugar bombs. Why are you guys shaking so bad? You guys must have a vitamin deficiency or something. But even, and the way they ended this episode too, I really enjoyed the fact that, that was an old Calvin and Hobbes skit. He was like telling Hobbes he was eating chocolate frosted sugar bombs. And he's like, look, there's 9 essential vitamins and minerals in this. And he's like so hopped up on sugar, he's shaking. And he's like, see, Hobbs, you probably have a vitamin deficiency. That's why you're shaking so bad. And Hobbs is just like sitting there shaking his head. But, both of them, Xavier kind of getting called back, knowing what happened, on Genosha, and then Forge and Storm, turn the TV on, and it's like, oh, here's what happened to Genosha, and yada, yada, yada. I thought that was a great way to end it, leading into, next week, which, next week's is called Bright Eyes. So, not really sure what that's going to be all about, unless it's about Cable, because Cable does have that one shiny eye.
That could be. I didn't even think of that. Nice.
And then we got the 3-part finale, not all in one week. It will be played out over 3 weeks, but Tolerance is Extinction, which definitely makes me think that it is going to be, heightened mutant human war going on. Probably see Mr. Sinister quite a bit. We might see Apocalypse in some way.
That's what made me, because I saw the names of those episodes, and that's what made me think of, maybe Charles is going to go bad or something.
I think it's just going to be very heightened anger between both groups. We're going to see a lot of, and it's going to, Wolverine is definitely going to want to get revenge on people, and we're going to see probably a few of the others like pretty angry, maybe even, Sunspot. He's been very leery of using his powers and stuff, but he may see, oh my God, they want to kill me just for being this, and it may, set off a cascade of events that, there's no turning back from. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle it, because, they do such a great job of adapting runs from the comics and changing it up just enough, just like, not having Cassandra Nova be the one who did the, massacre in Genosha, switching up Days of Future Past just a little bit. Phoenix Saga fits nicely into their little, so it'll be interesting to see how this whole Tolerance is Extinction, because I got a feeling at the end of this episode, we saw what looked like Nimrod in that sentinel that was standing there. I don't know if you saw it at the end. There was a sentinel with his like chest plate open. There was it was either Nimrod or Bastion. Bastion is like a human sentinel.
Oh.
He's like, he's not human, but he fakes being human to kind of blend in more, because Nimrod can't blend in. Nimrod looks like this futuristic robot that, you see him walking down the street, you run. But he wanted to learn more about humans and stuff, so he came back to the past and was learning about things and, doing his best to, kill mutants any way he can, even if it meant, rallying the humans against him. So that could be an angle they go with Bastion coming back in time. And that could explain
it could be, yeah.
Could explain why Cable comes back, yeah.
I could see that, yeah. Now, you don't think, I hope they don't go this route. You don't think they're going to end this season with Cable hitting the reset using this time travel and undoing everything?
I hope not. No. And with the fact that they said the characters that are dead, they won't do that. That would be that would be a cop-out for how great this season has been. I would be very upset.
As Family Guy says, that would be a big middle finger to the fans.
But what if, Brian? What if it was all just a simulation? So it'd be kind of like a dream. No, a simulation. I don't know. It seems kind of like the same thing. Big old middle finger to the audience. You know,
It
they
is.
think that this happened, but it turns out it didn't at all. None of it matters.
And now this might be too soon of a comment, so I may have to apologize to people profusely.
This is going to be insensitive, we can tell.
Oh boy.
But having Nightcrawler on the team full time now instead of Gambit, not so disappointed by that. I miss Gambit. Don't get me wrong. Horrible that he died. But Nightcrawler? I've always loved Nightcrawler. So don't want to, make anyone angry. But, if someone's going to die and get replaced, I'm glad Nightcrawler's on the team. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're so wrong for that. I had thoughts about Nightcrawler in our last review. Oh boy, did he irritate me.
Oh,
Yeah,
you just
he
need
did.
to stop that, sir.
No, it was oh my gosh, just he was like a Calvin with too much sugar. He's bouncing all over the place. Like I get it. I know that that's his character. I know that's how he's supposed to be. But chill, dude. Calm down. Sit down for a minute.
Oh, and Sierra said in the chat, they're not saying Godzilla -1, but the new Godzilla and Kong movie.
Mm.
And I don't know if I told
Yeah, I'm
you
not
guys.
interested in that.
I don't know if I told you guys this. I saw it. Me and Sully went and saw it
No,
last weekend.
You didn't? Really?
It's not terrible. Like it is. I really thought I was going to hate this movie, and Sully really wanted to see it.
Okay.
It wasn't terrible. It had moments where I was like, "Oh, that's a terrible choice," but like there was no terrible human side plot that didn't make any sense and shouldn't have been in the movie. Kind of, it was almost like a kaiju anime almost. I was like, wow, that was much better. Now it's, don't get me wrong, it's not a 9.5 or anything out of 10. It's probably a 5.5 or a 5.6, but going in thinking it's going to be a 2, thinking it's going to be, Rebel Moon, Godzilla X Kong, I was like, wow, that was like, I enjoyed it watching it. I was like, huh, imagine that. They actually,
Now,
And everybody needs to know it's not related to Godzilla -1.
no, it's nowhere
so-
near good as Godzilla -1.
what if Dave had gone to see it? Do you think he would have liked it as much as you?
No, I don't think he likes anything
Okay.
as much as me. But I think he would. I think you both would have been the same way. Like I went in there thinking it was going to be wretched, and I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't terrible.
Hmm. So I'm thinking I would have given it a 4.
Probably, yeah. This might have been Morbius for Dave. He would have gave it an 8.5.
I gave Morbius a 5. Stop with that. False news. Fake news or whatever.
Oh, and Tall Guy said they are making Godzilla 0. Sweet. God, I hope that.
Really?
Yep. As a sequel to -1, which is hilarious. Because where do they go from that?
1.
Godzilla 1.
And then Godzilla 2.
And you're like, wait a minute, that's the 4th one in the series. That makes no sense.
The math adds up. The first one was -1. Ah, man.
They're going to release them to America like the Final Fantasy games where I don't know if you guys know anything about that, but like in the United States, our Final Fantasy 3, I think, was Japan's like Final Fantasy 6. They released a bunch of them over there, and they're like, no, America's not going to like this one. Put it down. Wait for the next couple.
They are not ready.
They cannot handle this level of role-playing game.
Click on my computer. On your computer.
Make another Mario for them.
Yay!
Yay, he jumps higher now.
He can throw a cap at people and take control of them. What are the
Look at him, get
morals?
that turtle.
Is that a moral dilemma to take over these creatures and use them for your own gains?
Nope.
Wahoo!
We will be damned.
But back to X-Men '97.
Oh, really?
We don't have
Just
to.
kidding.
But I do think with the way this ended, I do think next week's Bright Eye is going to be Cable coming back to try to, and praying he does not reset the timeline and everything's just back to normal.
I hope he doesn't. I agree with Dave. It would be a cop out.
What, Dave?
What episode number is the next one?
6, I believe. No, 7.
Oh,
7, Bright Eyes. And then
3 more after that.
Yep, 8, 9, and 10 is Tolerance is Extinction, Part 1, 2, and 3.
And are they releasing 8, 9, and 10 together?
No, all of them are weekly.
Damn it.
So we got 4 more weeks of X-Men 97 and 2 more weeks of the Bad Batch.
Killing me, Smalls.
Yeah, I know. But it's good. It's
and
good.
The parenthetical title is Gambit Comes Back.
I don't think you were here when I told Keith. I figured out what happened with my thought process.
What happened?
So when I was reading the description for that episode of the Bad Batch, that's where it used the word Gambit. So in the description it says the Batch prep for a Gambit in enemy territory.
Still,
prepare for a Gambit? Not me.
For a what?
And then I watched
Nightcrawler.
X-Men 97. Then I watched X-Men 97, and I'm watching. I'm like, oh wow, this opening is different. This opening is different. Oh God!
If you look at it, Nightcrawler does have his own silver lining, so that's why Keith likes him so much.
Yeah.
Whenever he, teleports to another spot, when he shows up again, he's got the silver lining around it. So that's why Keith likes him.
Aha.
Aha. Aha. So let's hope that there's no shenanigans, no people coming back. We know that this has been renewed for season 2. I think it has been renewed for season 3 too, because they said they were working on season 3, so I'm assuming it has been renewed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's enough X-Men characters that you can have them, some die and not have to come back. One of the things that they originally had planned when Jean Grey had died at the end of the Dark Phoenix saga was that she was never coming back.
They should really make a Dark Phoenix movie.
They should. God, they could do such a good job on that.
They should try it like 2 times. And have the same guy, right?
Same guy, same story, basically.
Just different actors.
Yeah.
We would get like 2 hit movies that were just incredible.
Mm.
Yeah, because that's a long story. It takes a while to tell. And
you can do it in like an hour and 20 minutes.
That's what I'm saying.
Hour 20 minutes.
That easy.
And you know what? You know what? You should also mix in a few other plot points in there, because I just don't think there's really enough to the Phoenix saga, if you will. It's I don't know. Maybe that would take up about a half an hour total of the movie. Then the other part could be, I don't know, like just spitballing aliens.
Or
I'm telling you.
You don't want her to do any good with the Phoenix power before she turns bad.
Right, yeah.
Because then you're happy, when she ends up, dying at the end. You don't want it to be heartbreaking. You don't want her to like save the universe from the Shi'ar and the M'Kraan crystal, and a crazy, dictator. You don't want any of that to happen. You want
no.
her to just go instantly bad and start murdering people.
Yes, yeah. You know what? And if she could just like murder some real fan favorites. I think that would be the best way to do it too. Maybe the guy who's like faster than the speed of light and shouldn't be able to be killed by her, just off him like that, like it's no big deal. And just to prove that, that he stands no chance, cripple him first, so that way, he can't even escape. And so essentially, not only is she killing a fan favorite, but a crippled fan favorite. Really make her evil.
Sounds like we have a hit movie on our hands.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't see where we could go wrong.
Let's call Simon Kinberg and have him write that up.
He's watching. He said he's already on it.
He's taking
Oh, he's
notes.
on it. All
Oh
right,
man.
But by the way, speaking of a storyline, one of the Imperial Guard was Vulcan. For those of you who don't know, he was the fire guy, the guy who was basically lighting up. That's Scott Summers' brother. It is Havoc. Yep, Alex, Scott, and I forget his name. But he was basically, and he was even at one point, Emperor of the Shi'ar.
Oh.
He takes it over hostily.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I saw him there, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. We may get plot points down the line with him figuring out that he is a Summers brother, and he's related to Alex, who's Havoc, and then obviously Scott, who's Cyclops. Have we seen Havoc in the X-Men animated series?
I don't think we've seen it.
I don't remember. Because before we started watching X-Men 97, I didn't really go back and thoroughly watch the original X-Men 97, the original X-Men animated series. I watched like an episode here or there, but I couldn't tell you. I actually had another question for you about it because I was drawing a blank. So when we go to the Charles part of the story, they keep referring to him as a Terran, which obviously we've heard in other Marvel movies. Like we heard it pretty prominently in the Captain Marvel movie.
Guardians of
And
the
we heard it a lot
Galaxy.
in Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't remember ever hearing it uttered by any kind of alien species in any of the X-Men animated stuff. And I'm wondering if this is is this a carryover from the larger MCU? Like, let's incorporate this because we've used it elsewhere?
Probably.
But I've never heard of an alien, calling Earthlings Terrans outside of like the MCU movies.
You're saying it's just recent that they started calling them
That's what I'm
Terrans.
wondering, yeah.
I don't recall ever humans being called Terrans in the X-Men comics, and they've had a lot of outer space adventures. And obviously Scott's and Alex and Vulcan's dad is part of the Starjammers, who I know were on, the animated series. I can't remember if Scott found out he was his dad or not. Doesn't matter. But he's a human, and I don't remember them ever calling him a Terran. And Carol Danvers, hung out with them when she went into binary mode. She wasn't called a Terran as far as I know. So I do think this is... Oh, hold on a sec, guys.
Terra, here's an educational moment.
Okay.
Terra is the root word of terrain.
Oh, so essentially Earth.
Yes. That car could have been called the GMC Earth. They could have called it or Dirt. The
Dirt.
GMC Earth. Our planet's named after dirt, right? Rick and Morty moment.
Right. But no, I heard them saying that, oh, you're just a filthy Terran, and it's like, I know that word is used a lot to refer to Earthlings and to refer to Earth in the Guardians movies, in Captain Marvel, in a couple of the other, might have been used elsewhere. Oh yeah, it was also used in the Infinity War movie. I want to say it was when oh, you're Terran, and it's like yeah, it was used a couple of times there. And so when they started uttering it in this episode of X-Men 97, I'm like, have they done that before in any of the other Marvel animated series? Because I don't recall that. Like, I know it was used in the live action movies, but I don't remember it being used in the cartoons before. So I was thinking about what you were asking the last time when we were streaming, like, how is this going to connect? Because, to the larger MCU, because, Kevin Feige had said, this is all going to be part of the MCU now.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is taking place in a slightly different universe, a different version of Earth and everything like that. But, to hear that, I think, as simple as it sounds, it is still a word that is kind of connecting it to the universe.
Well, with quantum immortality,
Mm-hmm.
any character that has died, say, such as Gambit, and with quantum immortality, that would mean he would move, his consciousness would move into another universe and, take over, and he would be him in that universe.
Yeah.
So if he did that, then he could bring certain characteristics with him, and he could even go into the 616. But I don't know. I don't know if they're using that mentality, the quantum immortality theory.
See,
I kind of doubt it.
it would be more. I don't know. It would be more acceptable now because it's used so often in anime. Enough people have seen that same exact thing happen in anime that they'd be like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
I could buy it.
They phrase it as reincarnation and
Mhm.
remembering your memories from a past life, but it's essentially the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So if they were to present it in X-Men as, Gambit entering, his consciousness entering the body of another version of Gambit, people would see that and be like, yeah, okay, that tracks. I get it.
Well, and you
Yeah.
guys, I don't know if you talked about it. Do you know who is rumored to play Gambit in the Deadpool and Wolverine movie?
No, who?
Is it Tatum Channing?
Yeah. He was supposed to get a Gambit movie, and the rumor is that he's going to make a cameo as Gambit in the movie.
Okay.
That'd be like Ryan Reynolds to bring that in.
Yep.
And they probably would even mention the fact that he had a movie. They probably would.
But can he speak with that accent like the Bayou?
They better. He better be able to, or we're going to be up in arms. We're going to be marching it down again.
Yeah, we gotta march in certain directions. So two of us are going one way. We're going
Actually,
You're
He'll-
trying to ditch me again, aren't you?
he'll have a terrible accent, so when he gets killed, no one will be sad.
right.
Or if he's replaced by Nightcrawler. There's a couple different ways this could go.
Or Deadpool will show up and be like, we're just gonna stitch that mouth shut. Trust me, this is a great idea. I know.
That version of Deadpool is rumored to show up in the movie too.
Oh no, didn't he kill that version?
How could he do that? He killed him.
Mm-hmm. Multiple times, I might add.
Killed him
Bam,
in his
bam, bam,
in his
bam, bam, bam.
flashback.
Well, it's
Yeah.
it's not the same one that he killed already, but it's another multiversal Deadpool that had his mouth
Oh,
shown.
okay, all right.
It'd be great if DC got on board with that, because they're not really rivals. They're like brothers that poke fun at each other. It'd be fun if you brought like Green Lantern and did something in this movie with Green Lantern. Just be like,
No, hold on, guys, stop, hold up. You're in the wrong group of movies, buddy. What? I am? Yeah, you need to go over there. That's
You're
a burning
DC.
dumpster. Yeah, I know, it's DC.
you're DC, get out of here. It's too bright out here for you.
Where's the rest of the Justice League? The what? That's a terrible name.
That's a stupid name.
But
I can't wait for Deadpool to exclaim that he's basically an Avenger now.
it's going to be great. He is Marvel Jesus. So
Yes. So you're saying that I'm No, I didn't say. Oh, that was
There was
such
an
a good trailer.
astonishing lack of Beast in this show this week.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about it, but there definitely was. And I really hope I am happy we get this Beast again because recently in the comics he has turned villainous. And I've hated it because I have always enjoyed the sort of goofy, he's highly intelligent, but he's always been a bit silly, and he quotes Shakespeare and just kind of a goofball at times. So it's nice seeing that Beast back in this animated series when the Beast has just been an absolute, using X-Force to his own means against human. Hasn't been my favorite iteration of Beast in the comics recently, so it's good
That's
to see.
why I think it was such a genius casting choice too in the live action movies to have Fraser play Beast.
Yes, I really thought if they were going to do it, it would have been Nicholas Hoult reprising his role, but obviously he's going to be Lex Luthor here soon. But it was nice, Fraser Crane, or I'm sorry, Kelsey Grammer, does kind of sound almost like how you would expect Beast to sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
How
to the
many
point
movies
where
was
like
that? 2 or 3. The first 3 X-Men movies he was the Beast.
Yeah. Yep.
Was he in the first
So
one?
Nicholas
Well,
Holt's
and
probably
also
been-
Days of Future Past in the future.
That's right. He showed up, yes, in Days of Future Past too when they reset the
Mhm.
timeline.
Yep.
And so Nicholas Holt has been the Beast 4
For
times as
all
well.
of
in 3.
Yeah, he was First Class,
Days of Future Past.
Apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. Wait, Apocalypse?
it?
They made an Apocalypse movie?
Oh no, I was dreaming that.
No, we're still waiting for that to come out. Yeah. And the Phoenix Saga.
Yeah, Dark.
They made a
Phoenix.
Phoenix movie?
No, they're going to. Remember we talked about it earlier.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
They did make a Phoenix movie. It was about a bird, and it was not even X-Men. I don't even know.
Oh yeah, in Harry Potter they had a phoenix.
Right.
The Order of
Yeah.
the Phoenix. Yeah. Okay, cool.
And we were talking about sagas a minute ago. The Phoenix Saga. All right, think about sagas.
About an
The
hour and 20
Skywalker
minutes.
Saga. The Skywalker Saga lasted 9 movies
Right?
in 40 years. I'm sorry, 8 movies.
Oh, okay, good. I was like, is there another movie coming out that I haven't done?
Right. And then, of course, the Infinity Saga lasted 22 movies. So the Phoenix Saga, it's got to have some depth to it. It's got to have more.
There
than
needs to be
an
some
outline.
buildup. This can't be
Yeah.
like God, we're getting low on cocaine. All right, did we come up with an idea for the next movie? I don't know. Fucking do Phoenix again. Great, okay.
But
It's
we're
gotta be-
low on money, so let's only have it about an hour and 20 minutes. Oh, that's plenty.
Right.
We can do it all in that. We're good.
We can do the whole story in that time.
In fact, you know what? We're gonna need some filler. We really don't have enough Phoenix Saga for the Phoenix Saga. Looks at giant stack of comic books. Are you sure? No, you can read some of those. No, I'm good,
You know
man.
what happens when you lose a source material? You get Game of Thrones season 8. That's what happens when you lose source material.
Is that why Sansa Stark was Jean Grey? Whoa.
That's why. Don't you see the connection?
I do, man. It's all coming together. Time is a flat circle.
When I was getting clips for the last X-Men video to add to it, I legitimately forgot that they had Tyrion play Trask.
Yep.
So I was watching
that's
like, oh
right.
shit, I forgot about that.
I did too. Peter Dinklage. He's a
Mhm.
fine little
Good
actor.
movie, man.
Of course, he was in what? Was he in Endgame or Infinity War? Which was it? He was in
Infinity
Infinity War
War.
too.
Yeah, he played the he played the giant dwarf in the
And
dying
he's
sun.
always funny. I mean,
Yes, I love it.
this could kill you. Only no, you're gonna die. Only if this kills me. Yep,
That's
that
what
means.
die means.
He was also he was also an elf.
Yes.
Yes, he was.
You're an angry little elf. Save
Make
that
one more
again.
elf joke.
Oh, man, yeah.
Great
Hey.
actor, man. Great actor.
He definitely is. Should we rate this wonderful
I think we
episode
should.
of X-Men?
I loved this episode. It was good. I don't know if it I almost feel like it was on similar footing. I don't want to say exact equal footing, but similar footing as last week's episode. And I needed this. I needed 2 good episodes to make up for that horrible Motendo episode and giving me 8 minutes of Storm struggling. Like, why even do that? Either extend out to the Motendo episode, give us one horrible episode, and extend the whole Storm story. Like, I don't know what the thought process was with putting that together, but the previous week's episode and this episode really made up for it. It was so good. It was phenomenal. I loved the juxtaposition of, watching Charles, seeing him again finally, seeing him grapple with like, do I actually give up my memories? Should I do that, for this love? Do I want this more? Should I really give up who I am, deep inside? Do I give up all the lessons, my connection to Earth, to Terra? And then also, watching Storm become a goddess again, like a boss. Oh my gosh, that was so good. I loved it. It was amazing. I'm honestly, this might sound crazy, but I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. I thought it was that good. Like both halves of this episode were just so good. I want more.
You I agree with you 100%. They always change things up a little bit, and interweaving Charles' struggle, with the Shi'ar and whether he should come back and how that kind of played into Storm's, side of it. It was just very well done. I enjoyed this episode tremendously. Like every little, starting off with Deathbird attacking Ronan, and seeing the Imperial Guard and all the things that I love about comics was coming into play. But then having those two stories, essentially be Life Death Part 2, and then the way they finished up with both, Charles and Storm and Forge finding out about the mutant massacre, and obviously what's going to transpire after that was just beautiful. And I'm going to give it a 9.02. I mean, this season, outside of that Motendo, 10 minutes or whatever we got, 15 minutes, whatever it was, this season has been great. I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything more. And this is just carrying on that tradition of just excellent, well-made episodes.
Yeah, I went into this one thinking that we were gonna get a lot more Storm than than like separating the story between her and Xavier. But I did like Xavier coming back. I'm not gonna rate it as high as you guys. I'm gonna give it a 7.5, which is about where I've had every other episode in this season. I think if we went back and probably
I
prove
think
me
so.
wrong.
You rated the Motendo episode lower, but yeah, I think everything else has been about a 7.5.
Much like the
Yeah,
Bad
and
Batch, all of these have been above average for you.
yeah,
Well above average for me, except for the Motendo.
yeah. I haven't seen anything that's like average or under, I should say. What am I saying?
Same.
Above. I've rated them all above. And if it's to me, if I always feel like I want to go back and watch it again, that'll give it up, to a 7. You know what I mean? I liked how I was kind of torn at first about her regaining her powers because I was like, it's got to mean something if you lose your powers, But they had something in place to get it back. So, it wasn't just a convoluted story on how she got it back. So that I can appreciate. So 7.5 for me.
And she lost her powers, basically sacrificing herself, for Magneto at the time. And I think she's going to come to regret that decision when Magneto comes back all villainous again.
I might have preferred if they would have taken more of a crosshair sort of look at it where it was extended over a longer period of time, but it seems like they're condensing a lot of these storylines. The way that you've been talking about how these stories play out in the comics, it seems like most of these stories are pretty condensed. And I do like that she didn't just get him back right away. I like that there was at least some struggle that she had to suffer through before getting them back. So it did feel earned to me. But yeah, I think I would have preferred if they, at the end of the day, if they would have just stretched it out a bit more. But I still loved it. Just the presenting herself as and I love the costume too, Keith. That was so good.
And there was My Time to Shine, Hello, had said earlier in the season that by the end of the season, everyone is going to have a new costume.
Oh, all right.
And it was funny because I was like, are they going to do that? That just doesn't seem like a thing they would do for the animated series because they've all had the same uniforms almost the whole time. And then Storm gets that uniform back, and I'm like, okay, maybe they were onto something. Maybe they do have some inner knowledge. Now I'm like, okay, what suit are we going to see for Cyclops? What are we going to see for Nightcrawler? Sorry,
Wolverine.
And Wolverine.
Maybe Wolverine will get his brown and yellow.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They got to
brown and yellow, lemonade and brownies.
Pee and poo poo.
Yeah, that's right.
I am a child.
Milk, lemonade, round the corner fudge is made. Got that from Family Guy.
Aha!
Aka.
Oh man.
Well, do we have any rando stuff to talk about? Any
Yeah.
news or rumors floating around?
There was. We could talk about what other Star Wars Tales things we should have.
Mm.
Like tales of, like, well, you already brought it up on the previous topic. You know, tales of the hidden trail, or what was it? You saying?
Hidden Path.
Hidden path. Tales of the hidden path. I'd like to see. Well, I probably like to see an entire series, not like a 15-minute show, but an actual like full length show. Of course, animated about Luke Skywalker after Return of the Jedi.
That would
I
be
would like
interesting. I would also like to see that, like see him thumbing through the books, like, what, really? Huh. I guess they were called Jedi monks. That's a little.
You
We're
know
just
what?
gonna
I'm going to
tear
put all
that
these
page
books.
out.
I'm going to put all these books in a hut in the middle of this island, in the middle of nowhere.
And we're not going to ever look at them again. Master Luke, where are the Jedi tomes? I don't know.
Got me.
See, you guys are thinking way too in the box. What about like Tales of the Ewoks?
Oh no,
They already
I
did
don't think I
that.
would watch that.
Tales of the Max Rebo Band.
Hey, I got
Oh,
him on
you know,
post
okay,
check.
all right. Now I know that was a joke, but hear me out.
Tales of the Gungans.
The Max Rebo band trying to get a gig, and the final episode is them playing in the
At
the
Jabba?
huh?
At Jabba's
At
Palace.
Jabba's Palace.
No. The last episode is them playing as Luke and Obi-Wan wander in, and Obi-Wan slices off that dude's arm, and they're like, "Oh shit, this is our big break!
They're opening
Keep
for
playing, keep
Nickelback.
playing."
No one will ever forget this.
What about something like Tales of the Night Owls, leading into the Filoni movie? Or
That'd be kind of interesting.
what else could they do?
Tales of the Mandalorians, and we just get a whole, different stories from different Mandalorians because Bo-Katan even said to him, said to Din Djarin, like, we're not all bounty hunters, and so far we've only really spent a lot of time with Din Djarin and Boba Fett, who are both bounty hunters. So yeah, it'd be nice to see what other Mandalorians do that are, kind of off-world because it's destroyed.
What about Tales of the Mandalore, the actual first Mandalorian?
That would be sweet to see. That is
really
a good
cool.
one.
I'd like to see that. Maybe Tales of Rebellion, and we get to see more of these characters and like what leads them to join whatever, individual faction. Like, because we hear about the Gorman Front, we hear about the Partisans. I want to see like all these individual people, like what leads them to join this rebel faction, before it ends up becoming the Alliance.
Or
What
even
happened to them? What happened to the world?
like Tales of the Crime Syndicates.
Ooh, oh, that would be good
Tales of
too.
the Pikes.
It could even be, when Darth Maul had full control over all of them, things that
Yes.
happened.
Oh, that'd be so amazing.
And then here's one I
Great
know
park plan.
Dave will be on board for. Tales of the Canto Bight Casino.
No, I don't think anybody's on board for that.
Boo. Boo.
I don't care if you like The Last Jedi or not. I don't think anybody liked that part of the movie.
You putris, you slime. Boo.
Tales of the Palps.
Good guy, Palps.
Tales of Good
Look,
Guy
I
Palps.
don't understand. I'm just trying to run an empire. This is a very difficult job. They're blowing up my Death Star. They're killing my troopers. I've lowered taxes. What more do they want?
That thing wasn't even paid off yet.
We have order in the galaxy. What more could they possibly want?
Right.
But there is one little tidbit, little MCU tidbit that came out this week. Now, whether it's true or not, we don't know. But supposedly, Spider-Man 4 is going to film this fall.
I did see that.
And Tombstone has been in some of the early drafts as one of the Kingpin's enforcers.
Oh, this is what I've wanted. Please let it happen. Please, please, please. Put Kingpin in a Spider-Man movie. I need it so bad.
And have like Tombstone and maybe some of the other Magia bosses be a
Mm-hmm.
part. And he's trying to go legit and be the mayor. Spin that out of the Daredevil Born Again and have, Tombstone be like, hey, listen, I'm going to be the mayor. I can't do this, but I need you to take care of Spider-Man and Dare. Get me Spider-Man! And see that going on. That would be fantastic. That would be like
Maybe
the Spider-Man
have-
comics.
Maybe have JJ tricked and he invents Scorpion to go
Yeah.
after Spider-Man. And then we can set up a Sinister Six.
It's like they did in the last season of Daredevil. They, until Born Again, obviously, they had, what's his name? The Bullseye.
Punisher?
They had Bullseye to take the pressure off Fisk being the main villain. That way you can keep Fisk and he doesn't have to be dealt with during the season. And if they had him in a movie, they could have him still be the villain and still be the big bad, but not fully,
But he's behind the scenes a bit, yeah.
Not getting his hands dirty.
Well, yeah,
Right.
that's what the Kingpin does best.
Yep.
He has other people do a lot of the dirty work for him, and then he puts on a front and runs all these little charitable things, and people think that, like, oh, it's Wilson Fisk, Mr. Fisk. He's such a good guy. He's doing all these great things for the city.
This is why you could have him extended over a few movies as the Bat.
That would be so cool.
Bring the Lizard back. No, don't. do that.
Spider-Man thinks he's won, thinks he's got Fisk in jail, but then it ends with him, like, getting off on a technicality or whatever, and that's just how the movie ends, and it's kind of sad and depressing, and, That's
Or
okay.
Defended by the She-Hulk.
or Michael Keaton comes back as the Vulture, and he says, "We
No.
gotta get me that Spider-Man."
Michael Keaton comes back as Batman.
No, you know
He
what?
says, "Wait, I jumped too many dimensions here."
How's the
It
food
would
here?
be like the best middle finger to Sony if Disney said, look, this is the only way we're doing this movie with you. You have to bring the Vulture back. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to have him say. And we're going to pretend like your BS didn't happen at the end of Morbius.
Now, speaking of post-credit scenes, is the little bit of the symbiote from the end of No Way Home from Eddie Brock going to play any part in Spider-Man 4?
Oh my
I hope
God, they
not.
gotta
I feel
do
like
something with
it'd
it.
be too much.
They
I
can't
think-
let it dangle out there.
You can't let it dangle, but like if they're going with the storyline that it's going to have Kingpin and Tombstone and some of this other stuff happening, don't mix in Venom with there too.
Oh, you
because
don't mix in Venom. You know how you handle
You
this?
set up them.
How?
You set it up that he needs the additional power from the symbiote to
Oh.
take out the villains, not knowing
Okay.
what it really is. But he
So
embraces
we
it.
get Black Suit Spider-Man, and that would be like his upgrade, but maybe he goes too far or something.
Well, yeah, he starts, maybe not even this movie. Once again, we don't have to Dark Phoenix it. He gets that suit and he's able to, beat Tombstone and maybe Scorpion and any other sort of, enforcers that the Kingpin has after him. But then the next movie, he starts to find himself, dancing to jazz, giving finger guns, going going too far, because we all know Spider-Man holds back. He sees someone, like stealing a bike, and he just beats the living crap out of him. He's like, wait, what is going on? And he starts to learn that this suit is bringing out, darker impulses, and then, figure out how to get rid of it and then do it. Don't do, I got the suit, I need to get rid of it. Eddie Brock gets it, and he's Venom in the same movie. It's too rushed, but
That would be the Sony way to do it, though.
yeah, it would.
That's the way Sony did it.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, question, do you think they're going to stick with the home naming convention, or do you think now that this is, number 4, they've done a trilogy, like they could call it the home trilogy. Do you think maybe they'll start like a new set of movies with a different naming convention?
I think they'll do
Yeah,
a
I
new
think you're
naming
right.
convention.
That's what I'm thinking. I actually kind of hope they do too. Like this was the home trilogy. This can be the Spider-Man Far
Hell's
Away,
Kitchen
and the next
trilogy.
one Spider-Man Gone Too Far, and Spider-Man Far Out Man, and
Spider-Man, this time with Daredevil.
Spider-Man that's not with Daredevil.
Oh, but
Oh God.
there's one little more tidbit that came out about Spider-Man 4.
Oh, all right.
Spider Pig is in it.
No. And she would be
Oh.
upset if you called her that, you sicko. There's been
Who?
a casting rumor going around.
I was about to
I
ask
know where this
about
is
this
going.
because I had heard something. I don't remember
This
what it
is
was,
this what I shared in Slack?
Yes.
I thought so.
Sydney Sweeney as Black Cat.
I love it. Oh, I love it so much.
By the way, did you hear
Just-
what that one producer said about her?
No, what?
She said she is not pretty and cannot act.
Huh?
Yeah. It's like, wait, what? I can't remember the lady's name now, but I saw the story. And that, I'm like, okay. One, even if you didn't think
Have
she
you
was pretty.
seen Euphoria?
Yeah. Even if you didn't
Pretty
think she
is,
was pretty, why say it out
objective.
loud? And two,
Yeah.
if you're only basing it on seeing it in Madam Web, she's done some other things where she's been fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Actually, I've
Nobody
seen
can
it.
act in
Like
Madam Web, but to be fair, that was a shit movie with a terrible script. So, like,
that.
does that even count?
It does not.
Clearly, Sony doesn't think it counts, so they wouldn't have been like, yeah, sure, okay, put her in as Black Cat. Okay, you do know that she was just in your Madam Web movie. Yeah, we don't care. We don't
Did
care.
anybody see that?
Nobody cares. Okay, you know why we made that movie.
There's gonna
We
be like,
don't care.
There's gonna be like 3 people who say, "Wait, wasn't she Julia Carpenter?"
Right. I should make like another series of posters for Madam Web and sneak another Tim in there. You don't know. You don't remember. You didn't even see it.
As long as we're talking general topics, I have been watching another show.
Yeah.
I know, sounds like I've been cheating on our shows, but
Ah.
I watched the Monarch, the Monsters show.
Oh, that's
It's
on my list to
uh,
watch. How is it?
It's really good. I've liked every episode. I got through the whole first season. One thing really stands out to me, and it's just a negative thing because it took away from every scene that she was in, and it's sad. But what is her? Now I gotta look up her name just so I can say it to you. But she kind of drags down the scenes because you can tell she's acting during the scene, and that always ruins it for me. But everyone else in that show, Kurt Russell, his son, what's his son's name? Wyatt.
Yep.
They play the same character, one older, one younger, and they both play. It's like they went into a room and said, "You guys need to learn how to laugh like each other and talk exactly," and they do it. It's perfect. It's great.
Wow.
And all the other actors and the storyline. Well, the storyline at times could be a little convoluted, where it gets to the point where the guys, one of the guys trying to find his father in the show, who is out searching for Titans. His name is Kentaro. One episode you'll see him and he'll be like, "I gotta find my dad. I gotta find him." And the next episode he's like, "Screw him. I don't ever want to find him. He can go away." And then the next show he'll be like, "All right, well, let's go find him." That was a little irritating, but overall, I'd say it's a good show. It's worth a watch.
Okay.
This girl who I'm talking about, she was in the Flash. Flash's girlfriend. What's her name?
Oh, the actress who plays Iris.
Iris. Yes, the actress who plays Iris. I don't know she's just so bad in this. She just doesn't. It doesn't seem natural.
Hmm.
I
All
I,
right.
I don't understand it. It's really distracting too. So I guess I won't name her because that would be mean. But her acting performance was lacking in this.
Hmm.
I do plan on watching that at some point, especially after I enjoyed Godzilla X Kong more than I thought I would. But hey, should we find somebody to raid?
I think we should.
Shall we? Is it after 10? Oh my God, it's 10:05.
I know.
Let's see.
I got the regular suspects.
What is the SW, the Star Wars universe? Talk shows and podcast. Did they like just start? Because they got 0 people. Oh, they're breaking down the Bad Batch into the breach. Should we raid them?
Yeah, heck yeah.
All right.
I don't have them on my
And,
list, so you're gonna have to
Oh, yeah, sure.
raid.
They
I
should have called
wonder
it
if
once
like
more.
I wonder if I started like following them from like a Facebook page or something like
I
that.
think we've
Oh, I got them from that podcast group that we're members of on Facebook.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why does that logo look so familiar? Here, I will send it in here. Paste. There we go. Okay. And while you're doing that, I've got a question for you, gentlemen. Do we have anything on the docket for Sunday, or are we not going to stream this Sunday?
We're not going to stream this Sunday because we're only streaming Thursday.
I wasn't sure if we were starting right away or not.
Yeah, we got to start making changes right away. Yes.
I wasn't sure. All right. I was going to ask you if you wanted to watch some Death Note or not.
That'll be coming up though, because we're gonna have a lull
right.
here soon.
All right, sounds good.
But I need to finish Fallout and stuff before I have time to. I don't want to take on
Fair.
a couple Death Note shows before I can finish Fallout because I will be. You'll see me in bags under my eyes. I watched Death Note.
You get to watch Death Note.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, we're ready to raid. Thanks everybody for coming out. We will be back streaming next Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be dropping some shorts. We'll be dropping some videos. We're going to change things up a little bit. It's going to be exciting. So please join us. Like, subscribe, do all the crazy things that you're supposed to do. We would greatly appreciate it. Those of you on Twitch, we're about to raid the Star Wars universe.
And we're out. Are we out on YouTube too?
Out. Wow, there's a lot of people here.